You're 12 years old, playing barefoot in the dirt outside your family's shack in Ming Dynasty, China, 1570, when a black lacquered carriage pulls up. A man in silk robes steps out, face like stone, eyes like a butcher scanning the meat aisle. He's here for you. He doesn't ask, he inspects your teeth, your feet, your skin, like your livestock on sale day. Then he tosses your father a sack of silver, and just like that, you're gone. Sold. Not as a bride, not even as a servant, but as a concubine. Your mother's sobs fade as the cart rattles away, her face blurred by tears and dust. You're 12, barely old enough to braid your own hair, and now you're cargo, headed for the Forbidden City. The air stinks of sweat and horse dung, and your stomach churns, not just from hunger, but from the rumors you've heard. Girls like you don't come back, ever. You arrive at a towering gate, red as blood, where eunuchs with cold eyes herd you like livestock. Stripped naked, you stand shivering as they poke and prod, teeth, skin, and feet. One girl's sent home for a crooked nose. Another's kept because her feet are small enough to bind. Yeah, foot binding. They crush your bones into lotus shapes so you'll hobble prettily for the emperor. Sounds fun, right? Wrong. It's torture that'll leave you screaming for weeks. You pass the inspection, barely. Now you're in the harem, a maze of silk walls and whispered threats. Older concubines glare, their eyes sharp as knives. They're not your friends, they're your rivals, and they'd sell their own kids to keep their spot in the emperor's bed. Your first job? Serve tea to a senior consort who slaps you for pouring too slow. Your cheek stings, but crying's a luxury you can't afford. The rules are simple. Obey, charm, survive. Slip up and you're out of a job. Nope, you're dead. Maybe starved, maybe tortured, in the worst possible way. A girl next to you whispers about a concubine who spilled wine on a noble. She vanished. Rumors say she's buried under the palace floor. You're learning this fast. This isn't a palace. It's a battlefield, and you're armed with nothing but your face. A year has passed, and you're 13 now, trapped in the Forbidden City's inner court. A prison draped in silk. The walls shimmer with gold, but the air's thick with jasmine and fear. You limp on bound feet, each step a knife in your bones, because beauty means pain, and pain means you're still alive. Your days start before dawn, scrubbing floors for senior consorts who sneer like you're a roach in their rice. Your job? Make them look good while staying invisible. Pour tea too slow and a bamboo rod cracks your knuckles. Spill a drop and you're locked in a closet with no food for a day. Starvation's a great teacher, apparently. The emperor's bed is the prize, and every girl here's playing a deadly game to get there. You're taught to smile, bow, and flutter your fan like it's a weapon. But the real battlefield is the whispers. That girl with the jade hairpin, she spread a rumor you stole a noble's comb. Now you're scrubbing latrines while she bats her eyes at the emperor. Another concubine, May, slips you a warning. Trust no one. They'll drown you in silk to climb higher. She's not wrong. Last week, a girl was caught flirting with a guard. Eunuchs dragged her out, her screams fading into the moat. They say the carp ate well that night. Your big break comes when a senior consort picks you to serve at a banquet. You're dolled up in silk that costs more than your village, but it's a leash, not a reward. You pour wine for a noble, his leering grin sour with rice liquor, his hand grazing your wrist. Your skin crawls, but you can't flinch. The emperor's mother, face scarred from stone, watches from her throne, her gaze a blade at your throat. One wrong move, a tremble, a drop, a glance too bold, and you're not just dismissed, you're erased. Your hands shake, wine sloshing dangerously close to the cup's rim. The noble chuckles, low and cruel, as sweat beads under your powdered face. You set the cup down, fan fluttering to hide your panic, and step back. Silence. The consort nods. Not useless, she growls. A lifeline in this viper's nest. Then the gong sounds, deep as a death knell. The emperor's coming tonight. Your pulse roars like a war drum, drowning out the banquet's clatter. If he chooses you, a son could lift you to consort status. If he doesn't, you're chaff for the next purge, like the hundreds starved last year. You're carried to his chamber on a palanquin, bound feet useless, silk curtains swaying like a shroud. The doors creak shut, sealing you in with a man whose whim is law. His shadow looms, eyes glinting like a predator's in the lamplight. You kneel, heart choking your throat, fan forgotten. His voice is soft, but it's a blade wrapped in velvet. Please me, or you'll wish you hadn't. You force a smile, every nerve screaming, as he steps closer. Failure's not just shame, it's a one-way trip to the moat. You survive the night, but the cost lingers in your trembling hands, your reflection a stranger's. By 15, you're a ghost who's learned the harem's code. Charm the emperor, sidestep the consort's daggers, and pray you don't end up like the girl who slipped from a balcony last month, her silk scarf fluttering down like a broken wing. Survival's your only art, and you're painting it in blood. You're 16, and the Forbidden City's harem has carved you into something sharp, like a blade forged in fear. Your bound feet ache, your smile's a mask, and your eyes miss nothing. You've learned to dodge the consort's venomous glares and slip past their traps, but every day's a tightrope walk over a pit of snakes. The Emperor's noticed you. Once. He called your name, and for a fleeting moment, you felt like more than a ghost in silk. Now, you're pregnant. Jackpot, right? Wrong. A baby's your ticket to consort status, but it's also a target on your back. That Jade hairpin girl, now a consort herself, spreads a rumor you poisoned her tea. You didn't. But truth's a luxury nobody cares about here. You're hauled before the Emperor's mother, her face cold as a tombstone. Prove your loyalty, she hisses, or join the ghosts under the palace. Your heart's a hammer in your chest, but you bow, voice steady, and swear your innocence. A eunuch's whip hovers, ready to tear your skin if you flinch. By some miracle, a servant vouches for you. She saw you pour the tea clean. You're spared, but the message is clear. You're one lie away from a noose. You give birth to a son, and the palace buzzes like a kicked hive. A male heir could make you untouchable, but it paints a bullseye on your baby's tiny head. You cradle him in secret, whispering promises you can't keep, while rumors swirl of consorts slipping poison into cradles. Sleep's a stranger now. You jolt awake at every creak, expecting a knife. The Emperor summons you again, and you're carried to his chamber, silk curtains swallowing you like a grave. You charm him, fan fluttering, voice soft as moonlight, and he smiles. You're named a low-ranking consort. Congratulations, you've climbed one rung in hell, but the higher you rise, the harder they push to make you fall. May, your only ally, warns you of a plot. The Jade Hairpin consorts bribed a eunuch to frame you for treason. Treason means execution, not just you, but your son. You act fast, slipping a gold hairpin to a loyal maid who exposes the plot. The Jade Hairpin girl's dragged away, her screams echoing through the palace. You win this round, but at what cost? Your hands shake as you hold your son, knowing every victory makes you more enemies. By 18, you're a survivor, a chess piece who's learned the board. But the game never ends. A new girl arrives, younger, prettier, her eyes hungry for your spot. The Emperor's gaze shifts. Your son's your only shield, but even that's not enough when a plague sweeps the palace. You hear whispers of a purge. Too many concubines, not enough rice. Last time, hundreds starved. You clutch your son tighter, praying you're not next. Survival's your crown, but it's forged in blood, and it's heavier than you ever imagined. You're 22, your son now a toddling target in a palace that chews up hope and spits out bones. You've dodged knives, both steel and whispered, but the air's heavier now, thick with plague and panic. The Emperor's sick, the court's a mess, and whispers of a purge slither through the silk curtains. Your name's on a list. You feel it in your gut. Then it happens. A rival consort, that viper with the pearl earrings, accuses you of cursing the Emperor's health. Witchcraft. The word's a death sentence. You're dragged to a stone courtyard, moonlight glinting off the executioner's blade. Your son's screams echo from the nursery as you're forced to your knees, bound feet throbbing like a second heartbeat. The Emperor's mother looms, her voice ice. Confess, or your boy joins you in the dirt. Your throat's dry as ash, but you spit out a denial, praying your loyal maid can pull strings. The blade hovers, cold air kissing your neck. Then a shout. Your maid bursts in, clutching a stolen letter proving the pearl earring consort's lie. She bribed a eunuch to plant herbs in your room, framing you. The Emperor's mother pauses, eyes narrowing. The blade drops, not on you, but on your accuser. Her screams cut short, blood pooling like spilled ink. You're spared, but your son's not safe. You smuggle him to a distant cousin, a risky move that could cost you everything. The plague worsens, and you're coughing now, lungs burning like they're full of embers. The palace doctors don't bother with concubines. By 25, your body's breaking, bound feet infected, joints aching from years of kneeling, lungs scarred from disease. You're no longer the emperor's favorite. A new girl is taking your place, her laughter echoing where yours once did. But you've left a mark. Your son's alive, hidden, maybe free. You've trained younger girls, teaching them to survive the harem's claws, passing on your hard-won tricks. As you lie on a threadbare mat, fever eating you alive, the palace roars on. Silk rustling, knives sharpening. You were never just a concubine. You were a spark in a dynasty's flame. A shadow that outwitted death until it came knocking. Your last breath slips out, but your son carries your fight. A flicker of hope in a world that tried to crush you. So you outwitted the harem's deadly claws. Click the card now or miss the cutthroat secrets of your life as a geisha, where one wrong move in a tea ceremony could cost you your life.